Okay, so in the interest of time, I think we will get started, and maybe a few more people will join us as we go on. So good morning or good afternoon to you, wherever you are. Thank you for joining this Ipieca webinar about the marine geospatial bibliography. My name's Phil Ruck. I am Manager for Environment at Ipieca, working on a number of different environmental topics, which I'll talk about in a minute, and also Project Manager for this MGB project. So the purpose of today's webinar is to introduce an Ipieca tool known as the Marine Geospatial Bibliography, and I hope this webinar will be useful both to people that are completely new to the tool, as we'll be introducing it, telling you what it's all about, and giving a demo. But it should also be useful to those who are more familiar with the tool and its last couple of years of development, because we'll also be we'll be demonstrating some of the upgrades and new functionality that's been added to the tool for 2015. So we should get through all of our presentations in about 30 minutes, and then we'll have 10 or 15 minutes for Q&A at the end. So I'll start by introducing Ipieca and the MGB, the tool we're talking about today, and then I will pass on to Paul Edmonds from Island GIS, who will explain some of the work Island GIS have completed on the tool and the upgrades that have been made in 2015. And Paul will also give us a quick demo of the tool. After Paul's demo, I will introduce Oriol Lopez from Repsol, who will share a few words about how his company has been using the MGB and contributing to it. Then I'll summarise, and we'll get on to the Q&A part of the agenda. So just before I carry on, some technical logistics. So I've typed in the chat box that everyone is placed on mute, just to reduce background noise. But if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in the chat box or the Q&A box, either or, and we'll keep an eye on them and address as many questions as we can at the end of the webinar. So to kick things off, just a few words about Ipieca. So Ipieca is the Global Oil and Gas Industry Association for Environmental and Social Issues, established over 40 years ago to represent the oil and gas industry and better enable oil and gas companies to improve environmental and social performance. We're the only global association involving both the upstream and downstream industry, and Ipieca is the industry's principal communication channel to the United Nations. We help improve industry performance by developing, sharing and promoting good practices and solutions, enhancing and communicating knowledge and understanding, engaging members and others in the industry, and working in partnership with key stakeholders. This next slide shows the global nature of our membership. We have 37 corporate members, as well as 16 association members, which form a network of over 400 oil and gas companies. And we represent approximately 60% of international oil and gas production. We have access to over 500 global experts and a membership that directly employs over 1 million people. And as you can see from the slide, our membership consists of a diverse group of both international oil companies, the super majors, as well as the smaller companies and national oil companies. So a good range of representation. And what does Ipieca work on? Well, we have 9 working groups focusing on a variety of environmental and social issues. You'll see the nine topics listed there. This particular tool that we're talking about today, the MGB, was conceived by our Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services Working Group, which is a joint working group with our sister organisation, IOGP, the International Association of Oil and Gas Producers. So although this was developed by our BESS working group, it certainly does have relevance to some other environmental topics as well. So moving on to the subject of today's webinar is the Marine Geospatial Bibliography, which I will refer to from now on as the MGB. So this is a free online knowledge sharing platform that centralizes reliable environmental research and information related to oil and gas activities in marine environments. It geospatially references that information and makes the information easy to search and summarize. And we'll show you kind of how it all works shortly. But before we do that, just a few words about why we developed this tool. We're aware that research on marine ecosystems is progressing rapidly, and all this wide variety of research may increase understanding of environmental costs and benefits of oil and gas activities in marine areas. And what the kind of problem that the MGB is trying to solve is the fact that this material is often spread over different formats and accessed by different communities. So the MGB is trying to bring all of that information together in one place, in a central location, so people can refer to it. So some of the benefits: it supports science-based environmental management, enabling license to operate, provides technical and scientific credibility and weight of evidence for regulatory decisions. It allows horizontal transfer of knowledge between different communities of users, and helps retain critical technical knowledge in the oil and gas industry. And on this slide, I want to emphasize that the MGB is not only targeted at the oil and gas industry. We hope that other communities of users will find some value from it as well. So the value to companies is that they can use it in the initial screening and scoping phases. Perhaps if they're thinking about working in a new region, they can go to the MGB and refer to what information is already in there on that specific region. We also think the MGB could be useful to consultants, given there's a wealth of research and resources there that could help with any new work, or say if a consultant is doing an environmental impact assessment for a client, something like that. Similarly for academics and scientists performing research in this area, hopefully it's a good reference tool to find out what's already been done in terms of research. And also for regulators and policymakers, we hope that some of the information in the MGB is useful for making decisions based on the best available information. And also it's a completely public tool, so anyone who is interested is very welcome to look at the tool and use it and contribute to it as well. So where are we now? The MGB was first launched around 2 years ago in 2013, and the initial population with resources was done with consultancy support from ERM and Serpent. Serpent standing for the Scientific and Environmental ROV Partnership, using existing industrial technology. So after that initial population, we had about 10,000 resources in the tool. Some references were also provided by the Louisiana University's Marine Consortium, or LUMCON for short, who shared some references from their existing bibliography to go in the tool. So after that initial population, we have continued to add resources. As I said, the number is around 10,000, and it's a mixture of scientific papers, research activities and projects, and industry grey literature. And by grey literature, I mean things like environmental impact assessments, biodiversity baseline studies, that kind of thing. Kind of information and research gathered by the industry that's often publicly available but not all in one place. So we're hoping to make that available in the one place using the MGB. And so following the initial launch of the tool, Ipieca has been gathering input from members and users, and we've developed a collaborative relationship with Island GIS. And I will let Paul in a minute explain all about Island GIS and what it is they do. But basically, through this collaboration, Island GIS have helped Ipieca make some substantial upgrades to the MGB, which we think improve both the user experience and accuracy of the tool. So I am just going to switch the presenting duties over to Paul. So yeah, so Paul is the CEO of Island GIS, and he will be explaining a bit about Island GIS, their work on the MGB, and then he'll be giving us a demo of the tool and its new functionality. Thanks, Paul.
Okay, thanks, Phil. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the webinar. Yes, as Phil said, I'm CEO of Island GIS. I'll just give you a bit of background. Island GIS, past 10 years, is a company consultancy based out of Edinburgh, and we have provided consultancy services to the oil and gas sector, upstream, both upstream and downstream, during this time, working on site and providing external services. More recently, we've developed an open platform to provide web-based services, and this fitted very well with the work that Ipieca were doing on the MGB. So we very much enjoyed working on this project, and we are sort of very interested in the use of spatial information and the pinpointing of documents and information based on a particular location. We feel this is key to the very sort of open access to information, using location as the key common denominator to encourage interdisciplinary research across regions. So this specifically looking across the marine ecosystem. We've therefore got an ongoing interest in developing the MGB and looking at helping to ways of using our technical knowledge to integrate as much information as possible. But the sort of key with this really is the users themselves. So as I'll come on to in a minute, we'll talk about keeping it very simple and ensuring that it's yourselves, your use, your feedback that makes it that's going to ultimately make it as useful as possible. So I will now go on to talk about what we've done with the MGB. As Phil said, it had a number of sort of documents already stored in the system. So our first job was to sort of review that and review the interface, review the feedback over those years, over the first couple of years usage, and look at how it's been developed. The main thing we have developed is create a scalable open infrastructure using tools, a number of new open source GeoServer tools and Google Mapping, which was there, and then we've also brought in some other APIs to help the search capability. We've, as I say, keeping it simple is our key focus really. We started adding block outlines and started sort of looking at providing more information in the map, but very quickly it became clear that the key is just getting this document information into the map. So a lot of it's just been listening to the users to get that feedback of how you'd like to use it. So therefore we've improved the user interface, again based on just trying to have everything there to make it as quickly as easy to access, and also add new information. We've improved the location accuracy of documents by initially we've looked at sort of ways of automatically searching documents to locate them. This is sort of an ongoing process that we're developing, as obviously pulling multiple location information out of unstructured text is a challenge, and getting it absolutely accurate. So it still requires sort of manual review and input. So again, we're looking to improve that, and any feedback is welcome. We've improved the geo tools, introducing Google Places, and providing new tools to actually move the documents around when new documents are added. And we've also improved the search and edit tools within the tool. So I will now have a look at running a demo. So here we go. There, great, that worked. Okay, so now you'll sort of, I expect, I'm not sure if most of you have had a look at this already, but this is just the home page as you go on to the tool. And again, as I say, the idea behind it is to keep it very simple, so we're not trying to put too much information in there. But if you feel you need more information, also please do let us know. So just a few tips and the legend, looking at the different types of projects, papers and activities that are in there. We have, so the first thing is obviously going to the search. So you put in your search for whatever subject you're looking for, region, subject, anything, and then from here it lists the number of results on the left-hand screen. It takes you, click on that, it takes you to the location, and also brings up a summary of so that's showing you where it is, and then you can view it on the map, or also view a summary of the paper, the abstract of the paper there, if it is a paper, and then provide a link to the actual link to the paper itself. So that's the sort of basic view. If you have a login if you haven't got a login to the site, so anyone can actually go on and view information. We've also got a global resources tab here, because we realise that some papers will not have any geographical reference; it'll just be a generic subject. So we have those in here, so you can also go into those to find those. We have, if you have a login, you have a capability to add new resources, which the workflow in that is you would add a new resource, it would get authorized by Ipieca, or you would add a number of resources, it would very quickly get authorized by Ipieca, and it would be present in the MGB. So if we go to the add resource, it would, if you're adding an individual resource, you would just add the location, and then down here you can just add information within the text boxes, any additional information, keywords, URL, etc. And then you have the geographical tab, which is all about isolating the location. You can put in the coordinates, but I'd expect most of the time you'd be looking at putting in the actual geographical location. So here we've got, here we go. We can go to Barents Sea, and it would put it there. And if you want to know somewhere a bit more specific, you can move it around. If it hasn't got a location, you just click Global Resource, and then it would, and then you would close that, and then you would save changes, and that would then send the email out to show another resource has been added. So that in it is from a, as I say, just trying to keep it very simple, is the user interface. and as I say, we'd be very keen to receive feedback on how you're using it, any information that, obviously to upload information to it, in any ways that we can improve it. If I go.
Great, thanks very much, Paul.
Stop sharing my desktop there. So.
Great, okay.
So thanks very much, and I'll let Oriel continue.
Well, I'll just quickly introduce Oriel. So, yeah, thanks very much, Paul. Hopefully that was a useful overview of some of the new functionality of the MGB. Hopefully everyone will take the opportunity to go and explore it themselves as well. So please go and take a look. The address is mgb.ipieca.org. And just a quick reminder, if anyone has any questions that come up throughout the presentation, just type them in the chat box and we'll come to them at the end. So moving on with the agenda, I'd now like to introduce Oriel Lopez, who is Environmental and Social Management Analyst for Repsol E&P, as well as an active member of Ipieca's Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services Working Group. So Oriel is going to spend the next few minutes explaining to us both how Repsol have contributed to the MGB and how they've made use of it as well. And Oriel, I know you had some animation in your slide. Potentially, it won't work in WebEx,
okay.
So hopefully it's not going to be a disaster.
Okay, no worries. Okay, good morning, afternoon, everyone. Here I wanted to, as Phil and Paul said, the case study on how Repsol is providing information and potentially using this tool. The first slide here, Repsol, as you might know, is an international oil and gas company present in more than 35 countries, and one of these countries is Trinidad and Tobago in the Eastern Caribbean. There we operate 3 blocks. And we, at the beginning, we carried out a seabed survey where we characterized both the physical and the biological environment, and by identifying the seafloor characteristics and the benthic communities. The final work of these studies was this paper and the stakeholder consultation tool, as we call, where all these features were described and were seen in this work. No, this paper was also published as one of the Ipieca case studies in the web page. And then it was uploaded to the MGB. Here, this is the tool as Paul showed us. Here I typed Repsol on the keyword, and it appears which are the studies published on the tool. No, but there's also one thing that is important, that this tool provides also some visibility, visibility for the consultants, visibility for the companies that are uploading resources, as we can type here anything or any company we want to look for any studies. Also, we can see the short abstract, as Paul said, and where is the study. This is where the animation was, but actually what I wanted to say here is that imagine that we are interested in developing this area. We can look for information in the MGB, but it's not only environmental information as the 2 examples above. But also we can find any other type of resources, for example, geochemistry or petroleum migration for the development phases, for the later phases. And this last slide from my side, I wanted to talk about the benefits of the MGB for the businesses. We all have biodiversity baselines. We carry out oceanographic studies. All these works, all this information is sometimes, most of the times, shared with the government, so it's public available information. But the aim of the MGB is, as Phil said at the beginning, to centralize all this information for taking better decision making. No? What I say here is that also the MGB has a higher detail than simple biodiversity screening for flora or protected areas. It has, more detailed reports from specific sites. It increases the visibility, the reputation of the company, both for the oil and gas, but also for the consultancy. And then it's about what I was saying, the knowledge sharing, the responsibility of sharing all this information that is not very sensitive information, and then for taking better decisions, and faster. And this is it from my side.
Great, thanks, Oriol. So hopefully that gives you some useful insight into how a member company is both using and contributing to the MGB. Really useful to hear that. So before we move to the Q&A section, just a few summarising thoughts. Well, I hope the last 30 minutes or so have provided you with a useful overview of both, why Ipieca developed the MGB, how to use and contribute to it, and also to hear about the company's experience with the tool. We do recognise that a tool like this only remains useful if it is regularly kept up to date. Therefore, we are keen to continue expanding the MGB as research and resources become available. We're very happy for others to get involved, so please submit any resources if you think you have any relevant information that would be useful to share, and please share the web link with any colleagues or networks you think would be interested as well. We are very much open to collaborative opportunities as well, so if your organisation or company thinks they might be able to play a potential role in ensuring the longer term sustainability of the MGB, we'd be very happy to hear from you. And my email address is at the bottom of the slide there. So that concludes the presentation aspect of the webinar. So if we now have about 10 minutes for anyone to ask any questions. I haven't seen that many come in, so maybe you've got a few now. So just type them if you do. In the meantime, maybe I can ask a couple of questions. So first of all, maybe a question for Paul. I wonder if people might be wondering when listening or looking at the demo, what if I've got multiple resources I might like to share on the MGB? It could be quite time consuming, given that the form on the website is one at a time. So
yeah.
Is there
Absolutely.
any kind of plans in place for bulk uploads?
Yeah, this is sort of there in the background at the moment. So what we can say currently, if you have as many documents you'd like to upload, if you get in contact with Phil to say we've got these, we'll give you a place to upload it, and we'll put it through the system. The reason we haven't made it public yet is because There's still uncertainties in testing it, how many are being uploaded at one time, and we're also looking to introduce sort of scan the documents for location information as well, and we're sort of testing this. So what we're really keen to get actually is, if people have got those documents, please do send them across, because we're very keen to run them through the system to ensure the accuracy and the precision of the location that when they do go in. So we'd be really welcome. We'd really welcome that. Once that's in place and we've sort of tested it a bit more, we'll provide it as an option on the site under a certain login that you can go to and upload bulk documents.
Great. And question from Bernard at IOGP. How can we further promote the use of the MGB? Are most members making use of it and providing inputs? Oriel, do you have a sense of how many members are using it based on your discussions amongst the Ipieca members?
Yeah, I know that ENI is providing lots of information in the Mediterranean. Then Shell's doing the same for the North Sea, I think. And then, well, and others, I think that Conoco has provided some. Exxon as well, I saw in the Caribbean area. BP for the Gulf of Mexico, but I'm not. I mean, but by typing the names of the companies in the tool, I mean we can all see who's present in the MGB. Phil, can I answer the other question on how to promote this tool?
Of course.
Yeah. When we do an environmental impact assessment inside the companies, we look for information in geoportals or national databases, or information that we have from the WDPA or on any different sources of information. I think that by referencing this tool, we are, acknowledging the tool, and we are giving it more visibility. So by consulting the tool and putting the link to the environmental impact assessments, that I'm sure that there's a lot of information here interesting for the EIAs. I think that it gives more visibility to the tool, and by asking also consultancy if they have looked for resources from this tool, I think that it gives more visibility to the tool.
Great, thanks, Oriel. So a few other questions have come through. Let's see. One from Clémence Chazot from Rempec, I think. Are categories available for the documents uploaded, or are they all scientific papers only? So does the database include case studies, legal papers, conventions, that kind of thing?
Well, do you want me to answer that? It can do, yes. It's got. I think currently there is a structure for research papers, the structure that we have, but it can be changed. It can be sort of, and we can add more categories if required.
Yeah, so it's I think in the upload section there's an option to choose whether it's a research paper or a case study or other category as well. So yeah, we can differentiate between those. Another question, how often is the tool updated? Is it just based on the documentation received and submitted by users, or is there a specific person in charge of looking for new information? So maybe I'll start with that one, and Paul, you can add to it if need be. So at the moment it's just a case of adding resources as and when they come up. Ipieca being quite a small organisation, we don't really have the resources to devote to someone spending time looking for new information. So we do really rely on people coming to us with research papers or information to put in the MGB. Hence why we're very open to people collaborating with us and providing information to the MGB. I think in terms of maintenance, Island GIS do keep an eye on it and make sure everything's running smoothly as well.
Yeah, we're sort of doing ongoing checks as much as possible to improve ways and looking at ways to improve accuracy of the information. We are also, obviously this is a collaboration tool, and it's going to be key. Getting the most valuable information is going to be from individuals and companies. However, we are looking at ways of. There's obviously a lot of information available on the web already, so yeah, we are looking at ways of pulling that information in automatically as well. But I think making it as useful and relevant as possible has to come from yourselves and the users to get the most accurate and relevant information for particular regions and projects.
Yeah. I've just discovered a few other questions. I was looking in the chat box, but there's some in the Q&A box as well. So we'll run through a couple of them before we close. So Deborah McKendrick asks, does the MGB contain the full text of articles? The answer to that is no. It's a bibliography. So the idea is that it brings all the references together in one place, but then provides you with the link to access the full resource yourself. So it's not, we don't host the resources, we just provide the link for users to access the full resource if they want to. And often there might be a kind of fee to access the resource through Science Direct or something like that. So then it would be up to the organisation to sign up for that. Okay. So a question from Daniel Jones. Hi, Daniel. Are members uploading data about environmental baseline and monitoring surveys? This would be really useful for all the other operators and should be encouraged, perhaps as part of the submission to the relevant regulators. So,
yeah.
Warren, do you want to?
Well, we are on the process of uploading environmental baselines and monitoring. Well, as I said, there are many companies participating in that in the different areas. But what I agree here is that that this will be useful for establishing the relationship with the regulators too, no? Maybe, and taking the other question from before, by uploading the resources here and saying to the regulators, hey, we have uploaded this is publicly available, it gives more visibility to the company and more reputation, no? We have to share the EIAs in many countries, and the national geoportals, for example, in Colombia, in Brazil, in the North Sea, in Norway, and many other countries. All this information is already shared. So by providing this information to the MGB, it gives more power to the tool and a faster search.
Great, thanks, Oriol. So I think that we're coming to the end of our time, so I think I'll just wrap things up there. Thank you first to Paul and Oriol for your presentations and contributions to the webinar today, and also to everyone for joining and finding the time to learn about this tool. We will make the slides available on the Ipieca website to download in the next few weeks, and obviously please do go and look at the tool, and feel free to get in touch with me should you have any further questions. But with that, I think I will thank you all very much and close the webinar. Hope you have a good day.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.